Hello everybody, welcome to Kids Coding Live. My name is Daniel, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create these double doors that simply close when you click a button and open when you click a button for a new future house that we're going to be creating. Let's go ahead and get started. So to do this, you want to go ahead and open up Coppercube by double-clicking Coppercube. And if you don't know how to install Coppercube, I'll leave a link to it to the previous video in the description, so you could go ahead and check that out. Now, when we start off in our scene here, we want to just delete the default cube. Default cube sucks. And then what we want to do is we want to create a terrain. Now we just want this to be flat, so we're going to uncheck everything and we're going to make this flat. Then you can click OK, and now you have your terrain right here. So to make the double doors, of course, we have to make the button and the double doors. So to make the first things first, we want to make the button. So to do this, what I did is I will click Add, and I downloaded already some textures from Google. You could go look up your own textures, but I literally just looked up like gray. I have this in image texture in my image texture folder, which you should probably create in your pictures or documents folder. I'll link a download in the description so you can download this exact picture I'm using right over here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open up that file, and now we have it over here. And that's going to be the texture for our stand. To create the stand, we're gonna be using a cylinder, so we could just go ahead and create a cylinder just like that. And then we wanna go ahead and put the scale it down so it doesn't look too big. Right, and then we're gonna go taller because we need tall, and then we're gonna just double click our texture here. Double click that, and as you can see, the texture was applied. So now we could just go ahead and move this down so it looks a little better. It looks like an actual button, and as you can see, as we're moving it down, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. But that's okay because we're gonna be creating our camera. We're just gonna do a simple first-person camera by clicking on camera, then clicking on first-person shooter, and clicking OK. And here we go. Now we have a camera guy. Before we start the scene, this is good practice to always do. Go to New 3D Scene 1 at the top of your Explorer. Go to Behavior. Click the plus button, and then you want to do when a key is pressed. Change that to Escape, wherever that is. Then Action. Go here. Click the plus. Then you want to go to Special and click Quit Application. So I did not go over the Properties menu in the last tutorial, so I will be doing that today. The Properties menu here, if I make this larger, so if I make this larger so you guys could see it, this is basically where, this is where we're going to be doing most of our code, if not all of our coding. So this Behaviors menu, or Properties menu, works off of if-thens, basically, is how I should say it. So you could click a plus button, behavior is triggered by events. So for example, if every few seconds, so if something happens every few seconds, action, then you could change up stuff in the scene. And we're going to be taking advantage of that today. So let's actually put everything together. First things first, we want to publish our game. Just go ahead and go over to the Publish tab and run it so we can actually see what's going on here by clicking that little triangle button. And as you can see, this pillar is a little too big. Rather, I'm a little too small. So I'm going to go ahead and make myself a little bigger just by getting the Scale tool over here and then dragging this green bar up. So now, as you can see, our little bubble around our camera here is a little bigger. And basically, I don't know if I explained this in the last video, but I'll explain it again. The bottom of the bubble here are our feet, and the top of the bubble is our head. This is really called a collision box, and it's hard to explain. But what a collision box is, it's basically like a human body. Okay? Obviously, you can't put your arm right through another arm, or you can't put your arm through a table or a desk or a wall. It's like, so if this collision box wasn't here, then we would be able to just go right through a table, a wall, anything, really. So that's why we have this collision box, and anything in this box that's around the perimeter, anything that's touching this collision box, so in this case oval, it's not going to move the camera because of physics. So I'll explain more of that in another video. So I'm just going to go ahead and make that a little bigger. After our camera's bigger, we're going to go ahead and test this out. Still pretty huge, so I'm going to scale it down a little bit. And this basically this part here requires a little bit of trial and error, because you want to get to the perfect height. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what the perfect height is, because it depends on the collision box of your camera. But I think this here is about good, so just do a lot of trial and error. And once you figure out something that looks good, then we could move on to the next part. Right, so the next part, we're gonna be creating the actual button itself. And how I did this is I created a sphere, and then I applied a texture to it. You could really pick any texture you want from the default texture menu. That looks cool. I like that. Or maybe we could do like a little grass button. I was thinking maybe more of a metal type of button. I like the white the best, so we're gonna go with the white. And then we want to go ahead and put this circle on top of the, if it will fit, on top of our, okay, so this is way too big. We want to scale this down, just like this. And you want to keep on scaling it until it looks about good to you. So this looks about good to me. It still looks like a sphere, so we're just going to go ahead and put this on top of our little pedestal here that we created. And we just have to get it lined up. You could go for a top perspective to get it perfectly lined up. Let's just do that. There we go. Just go ahead and try perfectly matching it up by going to the top perspective. And then we could go ahead and put this down. And that doesn't look like it's really perfectly lined up, but that's okay. We could change some things later on. So, now to make our doors. We're going to go ahead and get our big character out of the way here. And actually, I want to preview the game first to make sure it looks pretty good. Yeah, this looks about fine. We could do some more tweaking and stuff later, or you could play with this on your own. But for now, this is just the bare minimum. This is the basic, so we don't really have to worry about that. Now we want to go ahead and create a cube, and this cube is going to be the door itself. Now, in the beginning of the video, I showed a metal door. I actually want to use like a concrete door, or maybe let's take a look at the textures. I think a wood door would look pretty sick. So we're just going to go ahead and go with our wood door here. And then we just want to scale this so it's nice and thin and skinny. And then we want to scale it up so it's nice and tall. And then we want to make it a little longer so it looks like an actual door. So this is our door so far. We're going to go ahead and click Control S to save our game. And you could name it whatever you want. In this case, I'm just going to name it open_close. Because we're just opening and closing doors. And then I'm going to click Save. And there you go. So, this is our scene so far. We want to go ahead and just move our little doors around until it looks nice. Close enough to a button, but not too close, not so it's right on top of it. So far, this looks so good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Control C on my keyboard and Control V. So I could copy and paste it, basically duplicating it. Now these create a double door. You could just select them, move them over here so it's next to the button, and there you go. Our doors are created. But if I go to publish and I run the game, as you could see, I click the button here, nothing happens. The doors don't open, they don't close, it just looks like a solid wall that we can't go through. So how are we going to program this to actually open and close the doors? And I'm going to tell you how to do that right now. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go on our little sphere here, or button, I should say, and then we want to go ahead and add new behavior by clicking the plus. And then that means that it's basically like an if statement, as I explained before. If, when clicked on this object, so if we click on this object, then we have an action. And this action will be to move the double doors out. But here's the thing. If I were to just move them out, it would just move out. It wouldn't close when I click it again. So here's how we would get past that. We're going to go ahead and create we're going to go down to variables and text, and basically this is variables and text, and if a variable has a value, do something. And the variable name is going to be open. So if open is equal to 1, which means if the door is open, action, we're gonna want to close the doors. So to do that, we're gonna just quickly put in our variable here, variables and text, set or change a variable. We're gonna just name it open, set to 0. And the reason why we do this is because we want to make sure that, when the doors are open, we want to close the doors, obviously. So it's gonna check, when we click on it, it's gonna check to see if the doors are open. If the doors are open, then it's going to set the variable to say, hey, the doors are now closed, and then it's going to close the doors. And how do we close the doors? Well, we have to get the position of the doors, and to do that, we click on one of the doors, and I actually recommend renaming it, so I'll just name this door 1, and click enter, and then I'll name the other door, door 2, so it avoids confusion. And we're going to go ahead and get the position of door 1. And if you're on a Windows, you could just go ahead and go to search here. Go ahead and open up a new notepad window. If you're on Mac, you could open up a program like Notes, like Notepad on Windows. That could be anything like Notes or text, any type of text editor that is small and you could just drag into the corner. So just do that. We will go ahead and write 1, symbolizing door number 1's location. And the position, we'll just go ahead and copy, go back to our notepad, and paste it here, because we will need it later. And then we're going to go ahead and select on door 2 over here, and we want to go to position, go ahead and copy the position. I've done this before, I've copied the scale, and the door kept on going like all the way off the map, and I'm like, what's going on? Until I figure out like, oh my god, I'm being stupid. And I kept on doing the scale. So you don't need to save this. No need to go file save. This is just a temporary window. We don't need to save this anymore. We just need to have it open over here for about 5 minutes while we're programming this. So now we could go to our little button over here. One click do something. Go over here. And how to access the action is just you click the 3 dots. There you go. You access the action. So if a variable has a value, do something. Variable name open is equal to 1, then we'll set a change variable, but then we also want to close the doors. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and change the position of a scene node. We're going to just select door 1, like this, and then you want to go to your notepad and copy the coordinates of door 1, as you can see, 1 space, the coordinates there. So we're just going to copy that, paste it here. Move animated, yes, we want the move to be animated so it actually looks like we're opening and closing double doors. We're going to do move time, 3,000 seconds, 3,000 milliseconds, I mean, and 1,000 milliseconds is equal to 1 second. So that means that 3,000 milliseconds is equal to 3 milliseconds. And an easy way to visualize that is, for example, if I want to wait for 45 seconds, I just write 45, that's 45 seconds. And then most game engines and coding languages use milliseconds. So to convert 45 seconds to milliseconds, all you have to do is add 3 zeros, and there you go, 45,000 milliseconds. Just as simple as that. Now that we have 2 actions, we are going to close one of our doors. Now we want to go close another one of our doors. So I'll just go over to change the position, and we want to close door 2. So we're going to select door 2, and then we want to go back to our notepad here, get the position. I don't think the slash is part of the position. I want to get the position of door 2 just by copying it and pasting it in here. Click the checkbox. We want it to be animated, and I want it to be 3,000 milliseconds. Perfect. So now, if I run it here, and I click this thing here, the doors still don't open because we didn't program it to open. We only programmed it to close, which is what we should do because it's efficient, because the doors are already closed and we can get the coordinates of the doors while they're still closed. So now we're gonna go ahead and put in a big fat open right there, and then we're gonna put in the same 1 and then the same 2. And this is going to be the open door coordinates. So, oops. So what you want to do is you want to take one of your doors and slide it open, and then take another one of your doors and slide it open the other way. So it looks something like this. So you could like go through it. You know, it looks nice. And then you want to go to door 1 and do the same thing. Go ahead and get the coordinates. The position, coordinates, same thing. Go back to your notepad window, paste it in, go to door 2, go to the position, copy that, and then you want to paste it here, just like that. And then you want to kind of do the same thing, but this time it's going to be a else. So if the doors are open, you want to close it, and then you want to tell the variable that the doors are closed. Okay? Now, if it's not open, if it's 0, which is what the else means, if it's not 1, then we want to open the doors and also change the variable to 1, meaning that the doors are open. So all we want to do is just click set or change a variable, name it open as we named everything else, and you want to set it to value 1, meaning that the doors are open. Click the plus sign, change position, change the position of which scene node. Let's go ahead and select door 1, go over to our notepad window here, copy the coordinates, paste it here, move animated, yes, and we want to do 3000 milliseconds. Now I want to do the same thing, change position of scene node. Which scene node? Oh, let me guess, door 2, the second door. Let's go ahead and get the position of door 2 out of our notepad window. And just paste that in there, move animated, yes, 3000 milliseconds. Click OK, OK, and then you want to go File, Save, so you don't lose progress, and, where is it? File, Save, yep, and then you want to play it. Now watch this. Now our doors, if we did it correctly, should close, and once they're closed, we could open them again by clicking on it. How cool is that? But here's the thing. We don't want our doors to start out open. We don't want intruders getting to our base the second we start the game. So what we're going to do is we're simply going to go over here to door 1, go to attributes, and then you want to go to your notepad window, copy the closed coordinates for door 1. There, just put in the position, click enter, and as you can see, it goes back to the closed coordinates, and do the same thing. Go back to your notepad window, go to number 2, door number 2 coordinates for when it was closed, and just go ahead and paste that into position, and there you go, you're done. File, save it, or Control S like I just did, and now we start off the game with the doors being closed. Oop, look how cool that is. You could start off the game with the door being closed, and then you could open it, close it, and you could even open it and close it while it's being opened. Now, let's just say, when we make our house, we open the doors, right? And then we come into our house and we're like, wait, where's the button to close our doors inside of our house? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that right now. And actually, it's pretty simple. Select our little circle, select our little stand, and then click Control-CV to duplicate it, and what Control-C does is copies it, what Control-V does is it pastes it, and it will paste everything including the behaviors, which is the programming, the code, which means that's it. We also have a button on the other side of the door to open and close it. So let's just say there's a big wall here, this is the entrance to my house. I could click the button to open the door, and once it opens, you could click the button too, and the other side to close the doors. And then you could also do it vice versa. Click the button on the other side to open the doors, go over here, click it to close the doors. And as simple as that, you're done. But let's say, the door opening and closing is taking forever. Like, I don't want to wait for this long. Then I have a solution for you. You could change the amount of time it takes for the doors to open and close pretty simply, and I'll show you how to do it now. So first things first, you want to delete pillar 1 because you're just going to have to do this 2 times and it's not efficient. So just go ahead and delete that. Real quickly, you add it back later, and then you want to go ahead and go over to your code over here. And then when you go here, you could see change position of the scene node, time to move. You could change this to whatever you want. Let's say I wanted to move. Let's say I want both doors to open in 1 second, and that would be 1,000 milliseconds, as I showed you before. And we'll just change all of this to 1,000, and make sure you don't forget the else too, if you want to change everything. We could change all of it, open and close, to 1 second, just like that. And then you want to go ahead and I'm gonna file save it, because you want to be safe. You don't want to lose progress if your computer shuts off or power goes out, or you just forget about it, leave it running in the background, close it out, and be like, oh shoot, I forgot to save it. Anyways, now as you can see, it opens and closes a lot faster, just like that. Pretty simple and pretty easy. Now, in the beginning, I showed you double doors, and actually I should probably copy and paste this and put it back over here. I showed you the quadruple doors, where I had, if I go over here, I had this popping out a little bit, kind of like that, and then like that, and they all moved, so we had to set up a little bit like this. Now, how do we program that? It's the same way we programmed everything else. We basically just changed the position of everything, and change the position of this, 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 and get all the coordinates and move it around and program it as such. So it's not that hard to do. And here we go. Here's the entrance to our house that we're going to be creating. I like it. It's a really cool door. It's not a boring old door. And yeah. As always, I'll leave links to all the assets that I used in the video right down in the description. You can download Coppercube and check out the first tutorial in the description too. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're feeling generous today, please also leave a comment too. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope to see you soon in another Kids Coding Live video.